He
might
it's
not
gonna be a late night for him.
he might not even make it, but I sent him the link, and we'll see if he gets on. At least if not, we'll save the list to the end in case he does make it. He can at least do that. So I'm sure he wrote out a list. And sorry about that. Good evening and welcome to Nerdcamp Sports. I am your host for the evening, Mike. We got Raja Anthony Ali, R&B, and Coach Will returns. How are you, gentlemen, on this fine Monday evening, the final Monday of 2026 or 2025, rather? I'm sorry.
Man, I'm feeling
Cold
excited.
and snowy.
Yeah,
Boy.
yeah, it snowed out here too, man. It snowed out here in New York. But excited because 2026 looks very promising, and I'm glad that we got opportunity to see another year.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to start doing, and I do this on Honest Hour, is I want to move forward with asking everyone who's on the panel for the day on a scale of 1 to 10. What's your mental health at today?
I would say a 10 for me.
10. Okay.
Yeah, I would say a 10.
That's
Very
good. That's
rare.
good, brother.
Very rare. I hear
Hallelujah.
someone say a 10. I like that.
Dope to hear.
It's
Dope to hear that, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Dope to
up
hear
there.
that.
it's very rare because I've actually suffered a lot this mentally suffered a lot this year, but I'm kind of coming to grips with things and kind of turning around a lot of stuff that's been very difficult for me to deal with. And like I said, 2026 definitely looked promising. So I can say honestly, a 10 is where I'm at right now.
All right. All right. Now,
That's
about
what's up,
you?
man.
How about you, R&B? How you feeling? 1 to 10 today, my brother.
Hey man, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably somewhere around about a 4.
Oof.
Just being honest.
Well, that's what
I'm
we're here.
overall I'm smooth, but just got a lot of shit going on as always, and you know how it be, man. This world stay whooping our ass, but we gotta fight back.
That's it. Will, how about you, my brother?
Um, probably I'm being honest, probably a 3 or 4. This is for a lot of different reasons. It's just a rough time of year for me. You know what I'm saying?
I hear that.
People that I
I hear
love,
that, man.
and you know what I mean. Birthdays, Christmas, all of that is. So yeah. If I'm being honest, probably a 3 or 4. Um, yeah. Yeah. But I 1,000,000% appreciate and respect you asking that question. Absolutely.
Definitely.
No
To say
doubt.
that
No doubt.
that helps. You know what I'm saying? That definitely helps.
Absolutely. It's something that's important. This is not, and it's something that I started paying attention to more or less this year. Um, so I started asking that question on
Mm.
season 2 of Honest Hour, and I think it's something that just needs to be asked amongst not just within our community, but within people, especially our community, but as black men, but definitely just a question that to just get everyone's mindset. You don't know what people are going through, and that's just the simplicity of it. I would have to say I'm at a good 7 um, today. Um, I've been in the 7-8 range as of late, so I can't complain. You know, maybe one day I'll get to a 10. That's the thing. That's the thing. But now that we're through that, let's talk some NBA, gentlemen. So, Mister himself last night, Kawhi Leonard, who was a thorn in my side because he got 105 fantasy points in the league I'm in, and
Yeah.
of course, the person I'm playing had them. Last night, Kawhi Leonard arguably turned back the hands of time. He had, I think it was 55 points, I want to say. career high, which is crazy because I thought he had a career high of a higher total than that. Um, but last night he really played very well. He looked like the Kawhi Leonard we all knew back in Toronto. And I'm just trying to pull up, but be that as it may, when you look at the boards, the Clippers right now are still in 13th. R&B, what do you take away from Kawhi Leonard's performance last night?
I think it's him kind of rounding in the form for the season. Of course, the season did not begin at the same time for him as it did for everybody else. Being that Kawhi's Kawhi, he's everybody always say this slogan about Anthony Davis, like always dinged, or they call him street clothes, but I don't see how we can keep Anthony Davis in that conversation and never really mention Kawhi because boy, and damn near Paul George too, but just keeping things on Kawhi, he be hurt a lot, man. Those knee injuries really set him back. And so I appreciate him, constantly trying to give it a go every year. He's kind of like a modern day version of what I would say kind of like what we seen with Penny, what we seen with Grant Hill, players who we saw them at their height, but then they got hurt and then they weren't really able to either reach that height, or if they could reach that height, they couldn't keep the health. So, that's kind of what Kawhi's career has kind of turned out to be. But just seeing what he did this past weekend against Houston, I think he had 41 against Houston, and then 55 against Detroit. It was a meme saying that he gave 90 something points to both of the Thompson twins this past weekend. Or whatever. But I fuck with Kawhi. Being the Spurs is one of my squads that I rock with. So I've been rocking with Kawhi for a minute. This is something I'm happy to see him accomplish something like this, and I would definitely like to see him, back in contention again for a championship, because I feel like when he's playing at the level that he's playing at right now, the Clippers are a scary team. It's just, can he keep the health? And it's just been a lot going on with that franchise this year, though, with the whole Chris Paul situation and everything, though. So I don't know if they can really fight themselves all the way back in it at this point. But I rock with Kawhi. Me and Coach Will, many times he done heard me. When me and him had discussions and debates, I always talk about how I feel like that first year, no, I'm sorry, that Toronto, the first year that KD got to Golden State, and then the Toronto series in the finals against Golden State with KD, I always mentioned how I felt like with Kawhi, a lot of people wanted to try to write that championship off because they said, well, KD got hurt and then Clay got hurt, you know what I'm saying? Which Clay didn't get hurt till I think game 6, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I
It was
think,
towards
but
the
but
end.
yeah, toward the end of game 6. And then we all know KD went down, I think game 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And
Six or
and at that time it was still a series. Point being, so I ain't, continue to ramble on. I felt that even with the healthy KD and Clay, that with Kawhi at that level where he was at when he when he got to Toronto there, I felt that was going to be a series regardless if they were healthy or not. Not saying that Toronto necessarily would have won, but I felt like that would have been a series. So a lot of people say 4-0, 4-1. I disagree. Reason why I disagree is because I remember what Kawhi did in 17, that first year, when he was tearing Golden State ass up and almost ruined that first run. And what they do, they send Zaza Pachulia out there to put the foot under the ankle, and that turned the whole series. But much respect to Kawhi, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with him. Like, I'm happy to see him balling, and I hope he can stay healthy.
Raj, do you believe that this can be a turning point for the Clippers season? Because we know that we're here. It's December, but we're getting into January, And we
But
know, like now, I always say once you get through 25 games, you kind of see we're
yeah,
already almost through 40 games, as they said, at 21-10. Can this be a turning point for the Clippers in order to get back into at least those top 8 spots to have a shot at a playoff run?
I mean, initially, I want to say yes because of the great performances that him and also James Harden have been putting up. Just a fun fact, real quick. If you would have told me like 2 weeks ago that Kawhi will have the second highest points, um, scored in a game next to James Harden as being number three, I would never believed you. But unfortunately, at this point, with 55 points, that's great. And James Harden scored 55 as well. He did this actually the 22nd of November. He scored 55 points as well. I still see this team as a bottom feeder team because they don't really have any kind of like young core. Everyone on that team is old. Everyone on that team is like, either on their way to retiring next season or they're probably going to be retired the next couple seasons. I mean, it's great that you have a resurgence of Brick Lopez, scoring 9 threes, I believe, in that same game.
Yeah,
Um,
he had a big game a couple games
yeah,
ago too. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been playing like Brooklyn Nets, Brook Lopez, but unfortunately, it's not enough. The West is stacked, and you got teams that are fighting out there in the West that want to get into that play-in spot. And let's be real, we know what time it is. Kawhi Leonard's going to be hot for a few days, and then he's going to be injured. That's just the way it goes. And you know, so unfortunately, I don't see that team having a real legit chance of even making the playoffs. But it's a good story. It takes the attention off of them doing Chris Paul dirty. Unfortunately, man. I mean, I'm not a Chris Paul fan. I actually don't like the guy at all. But I respect him for his basketball knowledge and his basketball history and what he have done for the game. So, but it's unfortunate how they treat him. But yeah, it just kind of extends the story for the Los Angeles Clippers. That's all it's doing.
Okay, okay. So, Will, do you believe that Kawhi and Harden will win a championship at any point? And if so, or if not, what do the Clippers need to do to get that to happen?
Oh, man, that's a question. Um, look, do I think they capable? Yeah, I think they both are. And again, like the elephant in the room, Kawhi, it's always health, right? You know what I mean? Kawhi, so interesting with Kawhi because there's many, the thigh thing that turned into the knee problems and all this different stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi, as great a player as he is when he's healthy, he on the court. It's not the injuries haven't really taken away from his game because his game is not necessarily predicated on being the supreme athlete or being, super explosive or whatever the case may be. He got a real crafty kind of game. So I feel like Kawhi and even Harden, like, I don't know if it's going to be with the Clippers, but in the right situation, I feel like they both could contribute, you know what I mean? Still could contribute, you know what I mean, on a high level to, a championship team. I just don't think it's going to be with the Clippers. I think the Clippers, they in today's NBA, I can't understand why they bet on a bunch of old heads the way that they did this offseason. There's no reason that they should have sent Powell to Miami. You know what I mean? And then and brought in, you know what I mean, somebody who's missed more games than they done played the last 4 or 5 years between Washington and Phoenix, and Brett and Bill. You know what I'm saying? Bill can ball, but you basically, you know what I mean? Like I don't understand what the Clippers are doing at all. So I don't think it's gonna be with the Clippers. I don't know what the Clippers are gonna do, because I know they still gotta, if I'm not mistaken, they got another pick to send out to, is it OKC, right?
Probably.
OKC for the Paul
Yes.
George
Oh,
thing.
Yeah.
from the Paul George trade, right? So
Yes.
they
Yeah.
they they, they can't go young. You know what I mean? In theory, they can't go young and just say, "Well, we're just gonna give this lottery pick away." Um, I, I don't think it's gonna happen with the Clippers. I think the Clippers will have to move on from this situation and try to salvage something, try to move them somewhere else and get some picks, maybe some young players, whatever the case may be. I think they can win. I just don't think it's going to be with the Clippers. Um,
So so
and I
basically,
don't.
it kind of sounds like you saying that they dug themselves into too deep of a hole to climb out of.
Like
Yeah.
they bait them. Milwaukee did the same thing with, you know what I mean, Wave and Dame and signing Turner.
Hmm.
And it's like that. Okay, that wasn't gonna get you a championship. I don't know what y'all like. Yeah, maybe it made y'all a better team. I'm not gonna disagree with that. But y'all done painted yourself into a real corner. You know what I'm saying? And you haven't really given yourself a whole lot of options for kind of, you know what I mean, pivoting if you need to pivot.
Can I add on to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and this is if I was the GM of the Los Angeles Clippers, this is how I would approach the team, right? I would continuously have those guys ball out. You know, Kawhi, James Harden, Brooke Lopez, all those old vets, right? And what I would do is I would be on the phone every single day talking to these young teams that needs a mentor player that can potentially help them get to the playoffs. So I'll be on the phone with, like, let's say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a team that'd be perfect for James Harden right now. Let's say the Washington Wizards. Just throwing it out there. I'm not saying that's a perfect fit, but I'm just saying it for the conversation. I would be on the phone with the Washington Wizards trying to find a great young star, like a young star, like, let's say, um, like Sar. That's what's his name? What's his first name?
Alex
Alex
Sarr,
Carr.
Alex
Alex Sarr.
Sar, the
But
Frenchman.
Hmm.
Washington gonna hang up on him. Washington is not gonna trade Sarr for James Harden right now or Kawhi.
But it would be great if you could find a second tier or a third tier that's on that Washington team, like Bilal Koulibaly, whatever his name is, the gentleman, also French gentleman that's on the team. He's not a superstar on the Washington Wizards, but I would be on the phone trying to build around him and say, look, I'll give you James Harden plus, maybe a throw in, and that would be the package for, Bilal, and I would do that. Or I would find a young team, like you go to Utah, try to find a young team for that team to kind of pick, through the team, like Keon George, or somebody like what's the guy's name that's on there, the other point guard, or even someone like Laurie Marketing. Get Laurie Marketing over in LA. That's what I'm saying. They need to become creative in ways on getting their vets out of LA, because that team is way too old, but they still got enough in the tank to go out there and score, or to go out there and put up triple doubles like James Harden does every single day. They can find ways of being creative and getting somebody in there that's young that they can use for the next 3 to 5 years. That's my point.
I agree with your point. I just don't agree with the teams that you're naming because they're not going to want to take a Kawhi or a James Harden. They're letting their young players play. You know what I
Right.
mean? And they're not going to want to give away young talent. And because even if you bring in Harden or Kawhi, now you're winning more games, and that's not necessarily their aim right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are, they trying to, let the young players play, draft capital, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I agree. I agree that the Clippers need to go ahead and have a fire sale. You can't present it as such because then that brings down the value, you know what I mean, of your players or whatever. So I agree with the point that you're making about let them cook or whatever. But I think it's going to be more teams that are up that feel like they're a player away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That also
I
might
agree.
have some draft capital. And I'm not saying that they should do this, and not that I would subscribe for my team to do this, but
Hmm.
the Pistons are a team that people are discussing as being a player away. I don't
Right.
think that player
Yeah.
is James Harden or Kawhi Leonard, but they need somebody, you know what I mean, that's kind of in that. The Pistons not only have draft capital, but they got players on the bench that we all know can play, but
Mm-hmm.
they're so deep right now, you know what I mean? They just, some of these guys just kind of need a chance. We see Quickly been killing it in Philadelphia since he got, you know what I mean, since he got moved last year or whatever. Like, roster is, so they need to find a team like similar to that. You know what I
Right.
mean? That is competitive, but also has, you know what I mean, some assets, whether it's young players on the bench that just need a chance, whether it's the draft capital. I don't think those teams, I don't, the Washingtons, the Utahs, the teams that are going to basically be in the lottery, you know what I mean? They're the, you know, the top of the lottery again next year.
Right.
They're not going to be willing to take on those players.
That's
You know what I'm
true.
saying? They don't want to take on those players.
So what
But
about
I agree with your premise though.
yeah? What I'll give you one real quick. I just thought of. What about Kawhi going back to Toronto? You know, I mean,
Mm,
I know it would be a little bit of a challenge to probably find a talent out there to bring back to LA, but you can give them like RJ Barrett, or you can give them somebody like I don't know, one of the guys off the bench for Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it matches up with the
If
contract.
if if I was Toronto's GM and they called me about a straight up trade for like maybe let's say RJ Barrett and for Kawhi Leonard in the pick,
Mhm.
I'd take that deal. With
See,
the way that Brandon Ingram and crew is playing right now,
yeah,
I'll take that deal. Because I feel like you add Kawhi to that squad, if you know, of course you gotta the asterisk is that with Kawhi, you gotta manage his health.
right,
So if you can
right,
manage his health, you know, it's gonna be a risk no matter what. When you talking about a player like Kawhi, if you can manage his health, I like that. I think that would be a dope move for Toronto to make. But I also
I got,
like what Coach Will said with Detroit too, because
right,
before you had mentioned Detroit, I was sitting here thinking, and I hate to always bring it up because they are home squad, but we are one of those teams in position right now that are we looking at is like one player away, and maybe not James Harden. I don't think James Harden would per se fit here,
right.
but one of the Pistons lack is that when it's all on the line and Cade is the only one that can go get a bucket and they take him out the equation, nobody else can go get a bucket.
right.
Kawhi could do that for us.
Can I ask two questions? I
Yeah,
got
go
two
ahead.
questions. And first, let me say this. I don't like a Kawhi trade for the same reason I don't like an Anthony Davis trade. You rolling the fucking dice,
Mm,
hoping that they're gonna be healthy. Like, you know what I'm saying? In theory, in a vacuum, I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know Kawhi just don't be healthy like that. So that will be my concern. So, um, first question is, if Toronto did, if I don't know if the money match up and all of that, and I don't think it do, but
mm,
RJ Barrett for Kawhi, in theory, if they can just do that for a pick or whatever.
right.
Kawhi, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, they all kind of play the same position. Y'all don't do y'all would y'all have any concerns about, you know what I mean, too much overlap in the kinds of things that they do to make that work? That's the first question. And then again, I do have a second question.
Okay, to answer that very, very quick, um, I see what you're saying, but I don't think it will be an issue because you'll probably move Bi to the three, move move. I would probably move Kawhi to like a shooting guard position. And you know what? To be honest, it doesn't even matter because he'll be like micro, like injury minutes. So he
Mm,
won't even. He could be either a two or a three, or even play the four, regarding who's on the court or whatever. And then as far as Scotty Barnes, I think Scotty Barnes is a four. He grabbed
okay.
25 boards last night, so I think he can play the four pretty significantly. He just got to just
Russell Westbrook used to have 15, 20 some rebound. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nah,
that
no,
don't
no, no,
that
no.
don't make
That
that don't make you a big man.
that's true. But Scotty Barnes is like what 6'7", 6'8". I think
And
I
so
think
is Bi, and so is Kawhi. So that's like, and again, like, I'm not saying they all have the same game, but is it too much of, like,
the
you know what I
same
mean?
type
Like,
of
so,
player.
I get what you're saying. Like they are kind of similar players and similar builds in a way. To me, I would say no. I don't think it would be the overlap because I think Kawhi got that veteran know-how to go fit into a system. Because we all know one of the most underrated things about his game is that he's a great passer. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like he can set up his teammates as well. He can make his teammates better, even though he's more of a score first player. He will pass the ball. But how I look at it in the lens where I kind of say, if you could make that, and this is all just just stuff we throwing out there or whatever. But if you could make that trade straight up, you really just upgraded RJ Barrett. That's all you did. You
Right.
just upgraded RJ Barrett. You wouldn't got a better RJ Barrett, a much better RJ Barrett,
But
and they
RJ
looking
Barrett is
damn
not a
good right
ball
now because
dominant
of
player
D'Angelo.
though. RJ Barrett is not a ball dominant player. Kawhi is, and Scotty Barnes need the ball, and Bi need the ball. RJ can play off the ball. Like he plays off the ball more because he's just not a ball dominant player in that way. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you got three, you can get away with two, three that all need the ball, and again, it's not that because Scotty Barnes is a above average passer. Kawhi is an above average pass. Like what I mean, they do find
Yeah,
open teammates. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
Mhm.
but I don't know. They don't really space the floor like that because Bi is not like, he can shoot, but he more of an off the bounce shooter than a catch and shoot running around off a screen. Like that
yeah.
I, that that
Well,
that that would be my concern with that team. You know what I
well,
mean? They're gonna be a matchup nightmare for a lot of teams, but I feel like it would
But
be nights where the
you
ball
still
just
got
ain't moving
Grady
enough.
Dick over there too. You
Yeah.
still got Dick over there, pause. But you know what I'm saying as well. And I don't know. I think yeah, but with RJ Barrett, I mean not RJ Barrett, but with Kawhi, I kind of get where Rod's saying like you kind of put him at like that 2-3 role.
Right.
And then I think your primary shooters would be himself, Barnes. Like you said, Bi is more the off the dribble guy, and then like Grady Dick and some of the other players that you will come and get fill in those roles to shoot balls, shoot threes for you. I don't know. It's one of them things like we would have to see it, but who knows though? Who
Yeah.
knows?
That was just an example of
No, I was just curious to hear what y'all thought about it. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it would
definitely.
Uh,
probably it would probably end up kind of like the Phoenix thing.
that
I said on this show is as soon as that trade happened that this wasn't gonna work because you have three guys that even though they don't play the same, they play the same. Like they do the same thing. Like it's just they're not. Yeah, So it would
I
kind
think
of
it was an
be as
easier call with Phoenix though, Mike, because they didn't have a point guard. You took your best score first, best player on the team option and put him at point guard and tried to make it work. Then they tried to put Bradley Beal at point guard to try to make it work, and it was just like, at least Toronto got a point guard. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
I mean,
like
that's
that.
but
true.
so who's in theory who's the point guard here if Kawhi get traded to Toronto? Is it Grady Dick?
Nah, it'll be Manuel Quickly
Yeah,
or
Okay.
Manuel quickly.
Right. Okay.
yeah.
So now, and Emmanuel quickly is solid. Don't get me wrong. Like Emmanuel quickly is solid, but
He averaging like
not.
8 assists.
But the ball not gonna be in his hands because it gotta be in either Kawhi hands or Bi hands or Barnes hands. Like
Well,
he gonna bring the rock up the court, but he not gonna be a ball dominant facilitating point guard in that way. You know what I'm saying?
well,
Like, like
we pretty much seen it when Kawhi was out there in Toronto before, and that's why I made that suggestion with Toronto because he's already familiar. But what makes it so unique is that, like for example, you got Kyle Lowry, right? Kyle
mm,
Lowry was pretty much a close to double machine every single game, and he also needed his scoring with DeRozan with him. But as soon as they moved DeRozan out, which DeRozan kind of played a 2 and 3 position, that pretty much was Kawhi Leonard's position at that point. They upgraded DeRozan for Kawhi, and
yeah,
now
I agree.
and now Kawhi, I mean, Kyle Lowry had to take the role of being a facilitator, not the scorer. So Emmanuel quickly could be that facilitator for Kawhi, Bi, and Scotty Barnes, because he's
I
not
don't
going
feel
to.
like that's I don't feel like that's a fair comparison. Kyle Lowry was a multi-time All-Star. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
but
and
never
and,
but
with-
never
and
known as
again,
a floor general though.
but
but that's what I was about to get to though.
mhm,
He ran the offense and facilitated, and he got buckets because that's what that team needed him to do. You
right,
know what I'm saying? So you can debate whether he was the best player or DeMar was the best player when they was, on the team together or whatever. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna argue with you, whichever one you choosing. But
right.
once Kawhi got there, Kawhi was clearly, you know what I mean, like the guy.
The
You know
best
what I'm
player.
saying? And,
Yeah,
and, and Kyle Lowry, so I feel, and Kyle Lowry being Kyle Lowry, I feel like it was a lot easier for him to just kind of, okay, I don't have to get buckets the way that I did with DeMar because DeMar doesn't quite score the way that Kawhi did when, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And now I can kind of, be more of a floor general or whatever. And again, Kyle Lowry was a multi-time All-Star already. Emmanuel quickly don't. I'm not saying that they're not gonna respect him or whatever, but he's not Kyle Lowry. When you
hmm
talking about, you know what I'm saying? If I don't know. Like I say, and again, I'm not gonna belabor this point. I'm not gonna die on this hill. You know what I mean?
hmm
I just, and I'm glad Mike said it about like the Phoenix thing. You know
right.
what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
Like it sometimes you can have too much of
Hmm.
something. Balance is very important in basketball. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Balance is super important, and a lot of times when you lean too far one way or the other, you know what I mean. That means you're gonna give up something. You know what I mean? Somewhere you're gonna lose something somewhere. So I'm not even anti Kawhi going back to Toronto.
hmm
I would be curious to see what that looked like with those three on the team together.
right. That's
I
a good
would
point.
too. And I think one thing that we also, just my last little quick point on this. I think one thing that we also do too is uh we always kind of look at it black and white for what it is, but we don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to really tell because we don't know what adjustment guys will be willing to make to try to win
True.
until it actually
Absolutely,
happens. Like, you know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
Some people
fair
might have
enough.
said Rashid are never gonna do that, play a third or fourth fiddle role at times or whatever, but he came here in Detroit and did it at times, you know what I'm saying? Not all the time, but at times, if it was Chauncey night, if it was Tate night, you know what I'm saying,
Hmm
to win or whatever. Like, so we never know until something
I
actually
mean, but
happens. So
part of the knock on sheet was that he didn't have the mindset of being like you listen to
of winning.
anybody that played in that era, they'll tell you that if she wanted to, but you know what I mean. He was the perfect piece for us. He's the rare guy that could be the best player. You know what I mean. And it's not just like I need to be that guy. He just want to win.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
that's my point. Who's to say that Kawhi couldn't be like that at this point in his career with all the injuries?
Yep.
He might see a situation where he like, look, I got these two young bucks. I
after,
want to win.
and the way he done robbed Steve Ballmer the last 7-8
I done got over on the white man good. I just want to
years,
win.
boy.
Oh
Hey,
man.
okay. So look, before I forget, because I had a second question.
hmm
And I wanted to mention this when Mike was asking if we had any questions about the NBA, but I didn't want to be the homer guy.
hmm
If the Pistons are one player away,
hmm
who do y'all feel like that player is? Who do y'all think they should be focusing on right now? And I want to hear what y'all got to say, and then I'll give y'all, you know what I mean, like my answer. And Ryan, me and R&B done talked about this a little bit already, so I think he already know my answer. But if it was somebody out there, one player that the Pistons can go get right now, all things being equal and even, and whatever team was ready to make the deal, who do y'all feel like that player is for them to put them over the top?
Mike, I'll let you go. Go. Who do you think?
Hmm. I mean, I think they could use a little size. Um, or someone who's really good on the downhill as well.
Mhm.
To me, someone who makes them an automatic championship contender is Giannis.
I was going to say the same thing. I swear I was going to say the same thing. If I would have wrote it
That's
down,
the
you would see it. Yeah.
he makes
But,
them an automatic
yep.
contender, and he really can help them spread out, and really doesn't isn't won't mess up their system.
Yep.
So if I'm Detroit and I know Giannis is out there and there's potential to keep most of my core and grab him up, we know Giannis ain't happy in Milwaukee. We
Do you
know.
think he wants to come to Detroit?
I think so. I
I
think so.
think
I
I
I
I
can't
think
necessarily say that he does want to come, but I think he would be willing.
Yeah.
Being you
Yeah.
spent all this time in Milwaukee, I couldn't see him not maybe being willing to look at Detroit,
Right.
especially when you see the emergence of Cade here.
Right.
I think
Right.
he's willing to go anywhere because he's made it clear that he wants to
He
win
want to
a
win.
championship.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what he
Mm.
wants to
It's all
do.
about that. Yep.
Wherever is going to give him that opportunity, I think he will go. If that opportunity is Detroit, Detroit's in first place right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Detroit's right now looking like the team to beat. Yeah, we talk about the Knicks and you talk about San Antonio and all, and you're talking about OKC. We understand that. But Detroit is in first place and getting the Kirk Cousins treatment because I ain't hearing that on the media. I am not hearing it
Man,
on the
we we
media at
we
all.
we. Thank
No
you. We
one
didn't get a
gives,
Christmas game.
no,
We haven't
no
even had a
one
primetime game this year.
cares.
It's ridiculous.
They have no respect for what they're doing, and
Mhm.
that's an issue.
They don't have no respect for Detroit. That's what it
Never,
is. They don't have no
never,
respect
never
for
have,
Detroit.
never
They
will.
they
This is
they more worried about them damn Lions who can't get out of their own way with multiple primetime games, but you got the Pistons who've come from nothing. You didn't see
Thi-
them. I haven't seen them add these major free agents. I haven't seen them doing all these things other teams are doing. And to me, that's a problem. So to me, like Giannis is the fit for you. Within, who won't do anything to damage
Okay,
you, to damage Detroit.
to and
that's
also.
that's the that's the dream answer.
Mhm.
I don't know how realistic that is.
But you
I
didn't
think it's
I
ask
don't know.
that.
I think
You didn't ask
No-
for a
that
realistic answer. You said what player? I gave you the
yeah.
player.
I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got you. I got you.
But
I'm
I'll be
with you.
honest. I just want to say this real quick, just to add on to what Mike said, because I was going to say the same thing. Everything Mike said, add that plus what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I would sell Giannis on winning multiple championships in Detroit, and I don't mean that like in a way where it's like selling it like Miami LeBron. I'm talking about realistic, big fish in small pond championship window open for the next 3 to 5 years. Because if you think about it, the only team that's in Detroit's way is the team that beat them in the playoffs, which is the Knicks. That's it. Any other
Who we
team in
got
the
robbed
East,
against?
yes.
Yeah.
Any other team outside of that really aren't a threat. I mean, yes, you could throw in the Pacers because they made the finals last season, but let's be honest, it's going to take a second for them to get back to contention with Halliburton injured.
And they
Now, with
got rid
that
of
being,
Yeah.
Turner too.
and they got rid of
Yeah.
their defensive anchor Turner, so they don't have nothing. So if Giannis is going to win multiple championships, not just one, but probably three championships in the next 5 years, he needs to go to Detroit. Because if he goes to the West, he's not winning a championship. But if he stays in the East, and if he goes to Detroit, he's going to win multiple championships playing alongside Cade Cunningham. Because Cade is a triple threat every single game. He's not just going to get the points or the rebounds or the assists. He's going to get everything. And his game fits perfect with Cade. And he's in his prime. So I know it's kind of unrealistic because they would probably have to sell the farm, but I'm willing to sell the farm if I'm the GM at in Detroit. That's just my personal opinion because I would sell him on that. You want to win 3 titles or more in the next 5 years? play with us. That's it.
I'm I'm gonna give my answer. I'm gonna be quick with it. Uh, my answer is I really don't know. And the reason why is because I really agree with all three of y'all. Will has heard me say it. When KD was a free agent, y'all have heard me say it. I felt like KD would have been a perfect fit to come here and pair up with Cade in Detroit.
Yeah.
When we found out that Giannis was going to hit the market, I said automatically Giannis would be the perfect fit to come here and fit in next to Cade and play in Detroit. But the
Right.
problem is that a lot of times when these superstars become available, whether it's where they want to go or where the league wants them to go, bigger
Yes.
markets or whatever, because they have a say in that shit too. I don't care what nobody say, they do. A lot of times we don't get to see that happen. So my answer is gonna be that I truly feel like it's not gonna come by way of adding a big name like a Giannis or somebody like that. It's gonna have to be, they're probably gonna have to go pick up it's hard to really think of anybody off the top of the head right now, but they're gonna have to go pick up somebody that's gonna it's gonna be like a smaller name, what I'm saying? Maybe somebody like which he just got there, so I don't know if they'd be willing to part ways, but maybe somebody like a Norman Powell or something like that, what I'm saying? Maybe I just had brought up the other day, maybe a Michael Porter Jr. from Brooklyn who's emerged, averaging 27 a game this year, is Brooklyn's number one guy, showing what he can do when he's not just a third spot up option, which we all know he was a top prospect anyway. The back injury is what landed him, in that situation with Denver. But what I'm saying, I think it's gonna have to be more of like a lower level move. But would I like it to be somebody like a Giannis? Like, hell yeah. If I could package Giannis, I mean, if I could package Jaden Ivey, maybe a pick or two and another player or two to go along with it, and bring in Giannis, I'm all for it because I feel like you guys said, the championship window would now be open. Like you said, big fish, small pond. I feel like you pair him and Cade together in this current East right now, they could really make some noise for the next 3 to 5 years, maybe longer.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Especially with Jalen Duren. If I don't have to give up Jalen Duren too, so now I'm looking at Duren as a potential 20 and 10 double option along with Giannis and Cade. That's a big three.
Yeah.
That's a big three. That's a small market low key super team.
And you'll get away
Okay.
with it too.
Um. Okay, so I'm gonna touch on everything, and then I'm gonna give y'all my answer. Um, and I probably should have prefaced it like no Giannis, because that's like obviously we would like yeah, you know what I mean. Like that's the answer. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's the answer. I don't know how realistic that is, in part because of exactly part of what R&B was touching on. Players don't demand a trade for the most part until they have the leverage. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want my Pistons to give away a bunch of prospects and picks and everything for a guy who don't really want to be here, who gonna end up going and signing with the Knicks in a year and a half
Yeah,
anyway.
facts.
You know what I'm saying? And
We already
and I
did
feel
that
like
with a head
Trajan
coach.
Langdon, and I feel like Trajan Langdon is smart enough that you don't trade for a guy like Giannis without assurances. You know what I mean? That he gonna extend anyway.
Oh yeah. Of
You know
course.
what I
Yeah,
mean? We shit. What, what Uncle Elroy say in next Friday? They got my daddy like that on the Cadillac years ago. The Spurs got us like that on the Rodman Sean Elliott trade years ago. You know what I'm saying? They traded Dennis Rodman for Sean Elliott. Elliott was in the last year of his deal, came played like shit for the rest of the season, and then went back and signed with the Spurs in the offseason and was a fucking all-star the next year.
Mm.
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So um that's that part. I feel like,
Shit.
and again, to what R&B was saying, I feel like it has to be something more realistic. My choice right now, out of everybody's that's available, don't want AD, don't trust his health, don't want Kawhi, don't trust his health.
Fuck, fuck,
Um,
fuck no, AD.
I I want them, and it's crazy to as I'm saying, don't trust these people's health. And the person I'm about to mention is injured right now, but don't really have a, crazy injury history. Demonte Sabonis. I
Ah,
feel like
knew you
Ah,
was gonna
I
say
like
that.
that. I like
I,
that.
I
I
feel
think
like
we
if
talked
Funny,
about that before.
yeah, that's what I say. I know I mentioned this to you. If the
funny,
Kings
because
are smart,
I thought about him as soon as you said
I
no
knew you was
Giannis.
gonna say that. Yeah, that was my second option actually.
no, if the Kings are smart, they not going nowhere. They gonna trade him. They gonna trade DeRozan. They gonna trade Levine. You know what I mean? Get whatever you can for him. Basically same shit we were just saying about the Clippers, except I think Sacramento got control of their pick. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
And healthier players.
Right. But Sabonis, he can score. He's not, he's not a 30 night a guy. He can get you 30, but he not that. But he can score. I know everybody keeps saying marketing. Marketing basically to me, all he really do is shoot. You know what I'm saying? Sabonis gonna give you some defense, some rebounding. He can space the floor. He's not the shooter that marketing is, but he shoots well enough. You know what I mean? That you got to honor him. You got to respect him out on the perimeter. And one of the concerns with the Pistons is that when K go to the bench, it's not really another facilitator. Sabonis averaged 8-9 assists a game. He gives us
Yeah.
another facilitator without necessarily having to take the ball out of K's hand when they're on the court together. And when K go to the bench, you can still run your offense through him because our roster has shown and proven that we got bucket getters up and down the roster whenever they get the chance.
Hmm.
So I feel like he would be like the kind of that she, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's already proven, you know what I mean? And it will fit everything that the team is already about. You don't have to give up as much for him as you probably will for an AD or marketing or or any of these other big names you want to name. But I feel like he is going to be on the market, and I feel like he would be like the perfect fit for that team.
Right.
Hmm.
I can see that.
I guess we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see how that plays out. Well, gentlemen, the topic took a little longer than I anticipated, so I'm gonna flip right to the NFL. If we have time to go back to the other topic, we will. But I want to get into this NFL, and I want to start with yesterday. There was a game where I think that if I'm Buffalo, I'm worried about a team. And I'm worried about this team because they came in this season. It didn't start off too well. And now here we are. And their defense is making a statement. And that's the Houston Texans.
Right.
The Houston Texans have played like some good defense. Not even good. Great defense. I mean, it's just disgusting what they're able to do and how they're able just to control the game. Raj, in your opinion, can the Houston Texans, with that defense, ride it all the way to February?
Whew, man. I want to say yes, and this is will be the perfect time for for them to actually make that move. And I'm not a CJ Stroud fan. I've doubted him, but he actually stepped up, and I owe an apology. I owe him an apology because he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do, and he's leading that team. And that defense is actually, I think, number one or number two in the whole NFL right now, or not, or top at least top three. But the only issue I have with that is if we look at how the things are in the AFC, it looks like it's either going to be the Patriots or it's going to be the Broncos that's going to get in the way of them actually winning the AFC. So I mean, and both of those defenses are really good compared to the rest of the whole entire conference. So I would say it's a possibility, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet because I need to see more scoring, and it's going to be very difficult for you to actually predict how it goes if you're going up against the Broncos, which I believe is the number one defense in the AFC, and then the Patriots, who we already know Drake May's in that conversation for MVP. So that's my answer with that. I'm not 100% sold on it yet.
Will, did their game yesterday against the Chargers move the needle at all for them? And what I mean when I say that is, does it make you believe that they are a threat in the AFC?
I already thought there was a threat. Um, when we were doing our picks last week, and I think I mentioned like, yeah, Chargers banged up offensive line, like Houston going, you know what I'm saying, go crazy. That defense gonna go crazy on them.
Mm,
I believe in CJ Stroud. Nico Collins is a beast. Um, I feel like they're serious, man. I feel like they're serious. Defense tend to travel. So, if they do end up having to go play in New England or in Denver, you know what I mean? I don't think that's gonna be a struggle for them. Um, Houston is for real, man. Houston is for real. Shit, they get after the quarterback. You know what I mean? Which that's usually where it started on defense. You know what I mean? If you got a good game is won on the line. So when you got a D line that dominate the way that theirs do, um, you always in the game. So I feel like Houston, shit, AFC is tough, man.
Yeah,
AFC is tough. Houston, Buffalo, uh, Patriots, Denver. Um, I ain't even sleeping on Jacksonville right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's AFC is tough, man. AFC is tough, but like I say, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Houston found themselves in the AFC Championship at the very least, much less the Super Bowl.
yeah.
mm. R&B, do you trust CJ Stroud?
Ah, it's funny you came to me with that one. Did you set that up like that? You
You know,
set that up
you
like
know I
that, didn't
did.
you, Mike?
You know I
Because
did.
you know me and Rod's history with CJ.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You know I did.
I might surprise y'all with this.
Uh,
No, not right now.
mm,
Okay.
Not right now. I don't. Uh, Make no mistake about it. The strength of this Houston Texans team is that defense, headed by Daniil Hunter, Aziz, and Jalen. Them boys get after you. They stuff in the run. They only giving up about 16 points a game, which is number one in the NFL. And I think the defense is giving up somewhere around about 270 to 273 in yardage, which is also number one in the NFL. They lead those two defensive categories. So they got the formula of what it would take, I feel like, to get it done on the defensive side of the ball. But this is my thing with CJ Stroud. If you pay attention to the game, he had those two long bombs. Then after that, he didn't do shit. Two interceptions. It was that defense that brought it home. If we you give us a lead to play with, and then we compact on top of that, then you got to deliver to bring us home. You know what I'm saying? You give us the lead to play with as the defense. And then we come out and say, okay, we appreciate that you gave us this lead and we're going to honor that. And we going to tear Justin Herbert ass up. You got to be
Yeah.
able to bring it home. And what I'm afraid of with Houston is that they've been on this long run, a hot streak, playing this good defense. And we, because the defense been so good, we haven't really paid attention to CJ Stroud's lack and struggles, similar to what's kind of going on in Philly a little bit. But it's louder with Jalen Hurts because they just won the Super Bowl. Um,
Yeah.
I think they'll fuck around and go to the playoffs, and when that game slows down, and now that other defense is playing just as hard as your defense is playing, they might go home early. So right now, I have to say that I don't trust that CJ Stroud can get it done, because if he was playing like he was playing when me and Raj would go back and forth about him, I would have full confidence that Houston could probably take this thing all the way to the Super Bowl. But we all know how the playoffs is. No matter how the game slows down and how that defense is playing, quarterback got to be able to deliver. If the quarterback can't deliver, we've seen it all too many times. That team probably is not going to win. We've seen it with Lamar Jackson. Shit, we didn't even seen it with Tom Brady before in the playoffs. If
Right.
if if, the, if that quarterback can't deliver, you're going home.
Yeah, and that's my thing is defense, like, yeah, it wins championships, but there are moments in the playoffs where your quarterback has to deliver. Your
That's where they
quarterback
earn
has
their
to
money
go.
at.
And that's, those are the things people remember. I think of some of the moments, back during the Super Bowl I seen, and um you have to go and do things when it matters the most. That's when it's the most memorable. When you can go down the field and get those game-winning drives, make the big throws, do those
Yeah.
things. And I agree. I don't think right now CJ Stroud can do that. Um, if you telling me that defense can play a sound 60 minutes and hide his weaknesses, sure. But we already know that ain't gonna happen. There's no way that can happen. Not 3, 4 games. It's not gonna happen. Eventually, he gonna have to go out there and be like, I gotta win this game for my team. Absolutely,
And it's not that
absolutely.
just real quick, Mike. It's not that he's incapable of doing that. I
Not at
believe
all.
he is capable of doing it, but it's hard for it's when this NFL thing is tricky. You want to be hot at the right time going into the playoffs.
Mhm.
I think Houston's been hot too long. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they're getting ready to flame out at some point. Let's remember now, this was still just a one score game with
Right.
all of the sacks and shit that they got on Justin Herbert. So all of the beating that they did to that offense, this was still just a one score game. They didn't blow these boys' doors off balls. You know what I'm saying? So think about that.
That's true.
Because we know when they get to the playoffs, I believe teams like New England are gonna put up points. You know what I'm saying? I believe that Buffalo can put up points and will put up points. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to be able to put up points. And right now, the way he's playing, it's not looking like a quarterback that's gonna put up points. What I'm saying, he can start out early, but can you give me the 60 minutes like you just said?
Right. Can you fin go, whistle to whistle and give us everything you got and come out with a W. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yes, yesterday, we seen, and my good brothers from Detroit, I'm sorry to ask this question. Well, we seen the official demise for this season of the Detroit Lions. Will, as a coach, I'm coming to you first. Does do the Detroit Lions need to fire Dan Campbell if they do not get back to form after next season? Oh, if you're talking, bro, we can't hear you. You're
Oh,
muted.
you muted.
Uh, I think it depends on exactly what that looks like. You know what? No, I'm gonna stand on this. I'm gonna stand on this. If Dan Campbell goes, and I know it will be hard to move on from him right now, but if Dan Campbell goes back to back with Jared Goff next year, and they have another subpar season, yes, he deserves to be fired. Um, I I do not believe in Jared Goff. Never did. R&B would tell you that. I've been steadfast in that. Um, I believe that Jared Goff is really, really good. I don't think he's great. Um, and Jared Goff needs optimum real estate around him. You know what I mean, to perform. Me and Ryan was sitting there watching the Lions Steelers game together, and we just kept talking about how, like, okay, look, we're not saying that Jared Goff was ever Aaron Rodgers, like, as a person that, manipulates the pocket and scramble and move around, but Aaron Rodgers is 42 fucking years old, and he still finds a way. You know what I mean, to evade the rush and manipulate the pocket and just buy a little more time. If Dan Campbell is going to die on that hill, if they don't, I'm not even saying they got to win the Super Bowl next year, but if they don't at least win a playoff game next year,
Yeah,
and he's going back at it with Jared Goff again, um, and he doesn't give, because it's not all on Jared Goff. Part of Dan Campbell and the front office's job is to give Jared Goff what he needs to excel at the highest level. They got to shore up the middle of that offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Don't
yeah.
talk to me about receivers or pass rushers or whatever the case may be. They got to shore up that the middle of that offensive line. So if he doesn't give him what he needs to be his best self, and Jared Goff isn't his best self again next year when we need him to be, and they fall short of expectations again, yeah, like you know, it's probably time to figure out the next thing.
R&B. If Jared Goff is not the quarterback, what should they do at the quarterback position? If you were to remove him, who would you put there? Or what direction would you go to get a different quarterback? Because it seems like to me, for a lot of what the consensus I'm hearing is that he's the problem to many people. Maybe not everyone, but to many people. But what's your opinion on
That's
that?
and just to speak on that, I think that would probably be. I've heard a little bit of that noise, but it's real low, and I think that's more so from people who are outside of the city looking in. Um, like Will just said, man.
You're
Yeah,
breaking up.
Jared Goff. I'm breaking up. Testing, testing, testing.
No, you good,
Okay.
bro.
Yeah, it's good now.
I'm good.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. So yeah, I was just saying that when it comes to this whole Jared Goff situation, man, just like Will was saying, um, it's a situation where he has to have the perfect surrounding cast around him. He got to have the best supporting actors around him in order for him to deliver in this movie. RGM, I've said this multiple times over multiple weeks now. I hold him on the highest of the hot seats of anybody in the Detroit organization right now. Uh,
Mm.
I would probably say he's number one. I would have to say. And then I would probably say Dan Campbell might be two, and then Jared Goff might be three. However you want to place those two, I'm not mad at you, but I think they're the top three hot seats in Detroit right now because of how this season has looked. But not just because of how this season has looked, but also going back to how last season ended as well. Uh, Not just 2, but 3 years in a row, this GM has stood pat at the trade deadline and been stubborn to make moves to improve the team to put us in top contention and continuously wants to go back into the draft to get talent. He has succeeded in drafting some talent. So you know what I'm saying, let's get that understood. He's done a decent job with getting talent out of the draft. But the problem is that good teams or championship teams don't just draft well, they also will and deal well as well. Especially at the trade deadline, they go out and they make moves that put them over. When you get a landscape of the season, if we are running the franchise, the four of us, we all running. We the top four of an office of a franchise in the NFL right now, and we in playoff contention, and we're looking at the whole landscape of the league, and we're seeing what this team doing that we in contention with, what that team doing that we in contention with, and we know that we got a hole or two or three that may need to be filled, or maybe just to upgrade and put some depth there. What are we gonna do at the trade deadline if we're serious about winning? If we're serious about contending for a championship, you're gonna make moves to try to add that depth or to try to, fill holes to put you over to get you where you want to go, which is ultimately a Super Bowl. The GM has not done that. So I can't put that on Jared Goff. And I also cannot put that on Dan Campbell because as the quarterback and the coach, they can only coach and play with what they're given in the situations that they're dealt. So as far as with Jared Goff, I believe because we paid him, his window with us is still possibly the next 2 to 3 seasons, unless he just comes out and lays an absolute stinker next year and is horrible. Then at that point, I feel like we still will be good enough to not be a top 10 drafting team. So I really don't know where you go. Like, do you try to, pick up the phone and offer a haul to Cincinnati, say, hey, what do you guys want for Joe Burrow? Or do you, do you try to go to the draft and see if see, what's going to be coming out of the draft in the next season or two. We all know that this draft is noted to be kind of weak. Now, we know that, any draft, you're going to have Pro Bowl players and good players that come out of a draft no matter what. But the consensus going around right now about this upcoming draft is that it's not really a talented draft. So is to answer that question about Jared Goff. I don't ultimately think that you can do anything right now because you place yourself in a hole when you paid him all of that money. And it's not like he's out here playing terrible. You know what I'm saying? Again, he's playing good football. It's just not good enough. And part of the reason that it's not good enough is because of him and because of what he has to work with. And that's all on the GM.
Raj, where do you think Detroit went wrong this season? Like, what made them not as good as they were last season?
Man, you know me. I'm not a Jared Goff fan at all, man. Honestly, I mean, I kind of predicted this would happen, the decline, but I didn't know it was going to be this bad. I thought they would at least make the playoffs and at least get out this first round. Um, but it goes. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think it's just the confidence in the quarterback. Like it really stems from that because that game was theirs for the keeping. It was theirs for them to win, and it just seemed like things just didn't go their way. And I've watched a lot of those games happen in Detroit, and it's like with Jared Goff, how you gonna allow a dude to outscore you, and he only got 50 yards? Like I would take that personal. And I know that's the defensive side, of course. You know what I'm saying? It's got to do with the defense. But I'm talking about from a quarterback standpoint, a Pro Bowler standpoint. You had one touchdown and two interceptions. And on the other side, it's this guy, what's his name? Brosmer?
Brosner, sound like a law firm, Brosner and
Yeah,
Brosner or some shit.
yeah, Brosmer or whatever his name is. This dude had 51 yards, passing yards,
So he
5-1.
was out there having a Justin Fields game.
Yeah,
You
he
know
had
what
a
that's like, don't you, Rod?
he pulled the Justin Fields. And you know what? It's embarrassing because it's like, yo, how you gonna lose to a quarterback like that? It doesn't make any sense. So in that situation when everything is on the line and you have to win this game, you gotta win those games. Big players do big things. And if I'm Dan Campbell and I'm trying to avoid actually really working at Applebee's, I'm on I'm on the phone calling Cincinnati. I'm getting Joe Burrow down there, man. I'm getting Joe Burrow down there. Because at this point, man, it's really look like you're gonna be working at Applebee's next year. For real, for real.
Yo, he really looks like he could be a manager at Applebee's, though.
That's what I'm telling you. He look like he actually works at Applebee's right now. And I'm trying to keep him there because I think he's great for the culture. I think he's great for the team. I actually think he's a great coach. When he was talking about, biting Achilles and all this stuff like that, I was with that. I love coaches like that. I love coaches like that. I love coaches that are passionate. But you're not going to sit here and say, oh, well, hey, we played a good game. No, you didn't. You scored 10 points. And you lost to a guy that had 51 yards. He had 51 yards in us, and we was at home.
I'll tell you one thing one move they might be able to make though, Mike.
What's that?
And fellas,
what's that?
Give us our defensive coordinator back because he's about to be fired.
Who?
Aaron Glenn. And that's no knock. That's no knock to what Kelvin Shepard. That's no knock to what Kelvin Shepard has done this season. I think Kelvin Shepard has been solid this season with what he's had to work with. But if it's an opportunity there, give us our defensive coordinator back because I believe he's out the door. Your call to fame is supposed to be defense. You guys don't have a single interception on the season. If you don't get a pick this week, the Jets will be the first team in history to end the season with no interceptions at all. The defense has been horrendous. The team has been horrendous. He signed off on the Justin Fields thing and decided to part ways with Aaron Rodgers and said that he wanted Justin Fields. He signed off on that, and now he got to die on that shit. I believe that he will be fired. I'm not necessarily saying that he deserves it, but we all know how this shit go with black head coaches. You get one shot. If you not Phil Jackson in your one shot, then you got to go. And I believe that's what will happen to Aaron Glenn. So I think the Lions definitely should be on the phone to try to bring him back home.
If that's the case, then I agree. Because but I would prefer that the Jets make a solid decision and give him one more season. But you're definitely on point with that. They will be like, you know what? It's not what we wanted. We gotta let you go because they will pull that, especially with somebody like Aaron Glenn. And it's unfortunate, but if he is dismissed, I would want to see him with Detroit and see him get back to where they were before he actually left because something's missing, man. It's a huge gap missing with the Lions defense and even the offense.
And offense. Well, we know Ben Johnson is missing. There's no question about it now at this point. We know that. We know that it's Dan Campbell's offense, but Ben Johnson coordinated it better. And Dan Campbell is not the type to call plays and head coach. He just doesn't seem to be good at it. Now, this is his first season where he's actually had to do so, but he just does not seem like he's good at head coaching and calling plays at the same time. He needs coordinator help for sure.
I mean, but it's a difference between designing the offense and calling the plays too, though.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
I would say that the Lions' fall is predicated on first, your secondary's been banged up all season. And that's a big part of it, right? So that's the first thing I would say. Second thing is I feel like, Sonic and Knuckles were a little off this year. I'm reading cryptic posts from David Montgomery about moving on. And, so it lets you know kind of where his mindset might have been.
They misused him, Mike. They misused him this year. We all fell in love with the dazzle of Sonic, which is Jahmyr Gibbs. And what we forgot was this team at their strength and at their best. First of all, the offensive line, let's start there. The offensive line is completely disarrayed when our center retired. We lost another dude to free agency. Then we got injuries on the offensive line. In the game against the Steelers, that was our third center that they had just brought up from the practice squad that had to play that game. So, you know what I'm saying? So the offensive line is just not good. But what I will say about that is this. They fell in love with Jameer and they decided to try to make him more of the feature back this year.
Yes.
Those two were at their strength the last couple seasons, and they both were rushing for over 1,000 yards apiece the last couple seasons because the system that Ben Johnson was running with the both of them, called for Montgomery to basically be your bruiser and for Jameer Gibbs to be your home run hitter. This year they tried to make Jameer Gibbs be both, and he had some games where he was very successful this year. Multiple three touchdown game. One game I think he hit like 200 or something like that. But then what I'm saying, it was inconsistent. And then it's been a stretch here where he hasn't even hit 50 yards the past 3 weeks. So it's like they were not involving Montgomery in the ways that they had done in previous years. And I felt like that definitely kind of threw off the offense a little bit because he's a better pass blocker. Uh, he brings a certain element and toughness. You know what I'm saying? This is sport, so it's not always going to be about stats. He might be
Right.
out there and throw a hella block on somebody and golf hit J-Mo down the field. And because of that hella block that we don't see and don't get the notoriety, that opens up that pass down the field. Now everybody hype and they off and running and they balling. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that can happen. You're missing that when you're not putting him in the game and letting him bring that element. So I agree with you on that point that, what I'm saying, about Montgomery.
And
I, um,
I'm
I,
looking
I was
at it
going.
now. Montgomery has 674 and 8 touchdowns compared to 775 and 12 last year. And Gibbs has 224. I'm sorry, 1143 yards, 13 touchdowns to 14, 12, and 16 last year. So the numbers aren't much different. Little less, but
But, can I jump in real quick?
yeah.
I don't. I don't feel like they. We've all said it. The offensive line problems. I would be curious to see how many offensive possessions the Lions have had last season versus this season. Because the other thing is, like, they scored a lot and they scored fast a lot of times last season. So, and they, as many injuries as it was on the defense last year, they still created a lot of turnovers. So
Right.
it was a lot more possessions last season, I feel like, as well. And then again, too, even with the possessions that we've had, like last year, it wasn't a whole lot of 3-and-outs. It's been a lot of 3-and-outs this year. So you know what I'm saying? Jameer Gibbs was kind of thriving earlier in the season in spite of the offensive line on some Barry Sanders shit. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them, his longest runs of the season, if you really go back and look at it, it was like people in position to tackle him and shit. He just did what Jameer do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And shook him and you know what I mean, and got to the house or whatever. Um. I think all of that plays into like the Montgomery thing this year. I don't think it's been as many possessions, which means less touches for everybody, not just him, but just less plays run for everybody, especially when splitting carries with another running back, and with the offensive line struggling the way it did, it a lot of 3-and-outs, a lot of short drives. I just don't think it's been as many opportunities for him or Jameer this year as it was last year.
And I pulled up that stat too. So last year the Lions averaged 65.9 plays per game. This year it's at 65.3 approximately because it's still one game left.
Mm.
Well, I mean, we'll see what the Lions bring moving forward. I think they should just run it back the way it is, and just see what happens. And if next season it's turns out we're having the same conversation or something similar to this, then they need to figure out what they need to do to become what they were last season again. So, also yesterday, I'm very critical about the Steelers. He had one job yesterday. He had one job. One fucking job. To beat the Cleveland Browns. That's all you had to do. And that did not happen. Believe it or not, what I have to say is short and simple. Yesterday, I believe our defense showed up. We ain't had TJ Watt in 4 games. Defense did their job yesterday. You know who did not do their job yesterday? Our offensive coordinator did not do his job. Our offensive coordinator played that game as if Metcalf wasn't suspended. You tried to do the same damn thing as if he were on the field. And then to sit there and watch that final play, you ain't moved the ball all game. And that last drive, you get down there, boom, boom, boom. You on the 12 or whatever it was. We get to 4th and goal. Rodgers goes to MVS. When you had Kenneth Gainwell underneath, wide open, not a body and soul, not a body close to him, and you throw to MVS. You know why? There were 2 things the Steelers were doing yesterday. First of all, they was making sure Myles Garrett didn't get the record. First off, they was very concentrated on that. I can tell you that. You ain't gonna go and get that record on us and erase, a Steeler who has that record tied anyway. And second of all, they were playing not to lose, not playing to win. So when you culminate not playing to win, you're playing not to lose. You culminate bad decision making when you're calling the plays, and then you culminate playing the game like DK Metcalf was still there. Y'all deserve to lose. And you know what else now? Because guess what? If Derek fucking Henry runs for another 200 yards like he did this week on that defense, guess what? You going home. And a division that was yours to take, all you had to do was beat the fucking Browns. That's all you had to do. You go into this game, Mike Tomlin, 26-7 against rookie quarterbacks. And you couldn't do it. The Browns. Like I said, I looked it up. Ben Roethlisberger was 26-1 against the Browns for his career. We've lost more games to the Browns in the last 4 years than we did with him in 18. How? Just how? So you know what? In all honesty, if we lose this weekend, I'm going to be partially happy. You know why? Because y'all deserve to lose. Y'all deserve to lose. Because now you set up this showdown with Baltimore, 8:20. Now I got to stay up all time and sit there and you know they can't just play normal. Like I swear this team was made to stress me the fuck out. Now I got to go to sleep either mad as hell or under high duress from a win. And so yeah, that's my take on the damn game. That's just bad. It was just bad. Rod, you was laughing. So You go first. What was your take on how pathetic the Steelers were yesterday?
Listen, I'm gonna keep it very short and sweet. That's some Steeler shit. I mean, I know, everybody knows that's on this pod. We know how it goes. It's just the way it is. But they're so focused on trying to stop Miles Garrett breaking that record that they lost the game. And it's not something where it's like, we can say, oh well, they lost because they played crappy. They played horrible. They played horrible. Like, I watched that last drive and I even did a video on it. They threw to the same dude three times. Three times in a row. Valdez Scantley. They threw to him three times in a row. I would have ran that ball down their throat at least twice and then threw the ball because, like, come on, man. I mean, really. But once again, it just leaves me to wonder, is this scripted? Because we knew that the Baltimore Ravens were out of it last week. Last week we said, yo, the Baltimore Ravens, they're not making the playoffs. But now all of a sudden they're back in the chat. So the question that I got to you, for you guys, do you think the NFL is scripted? Because how the hell do you lose to the Cleveland Browns, who's not playing for anything?
Now, let me tell you something. It is scripted because they didn't get one. They got two games. Like, if you look at the Week 18 schedule, like, even, it's always to be determined. All games are division matchups.
Yes,
that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted, because when Tom Brady was playing, he would have the division locked up by week 12 or 13, and you have all these players getting benched, right? So that's why they did this. During the game yesterday, the announcer said his exact words. I cannot forget them. The NFL got what they wanted. They got the Ravens won yesterday. The Steelers lost today.
Yep.
So now it sets up a showdown next Saturday night or Sunday night. He said they got another one they wanted because we have the same thing with Carolina and Tampa.
Yep. And Tampa.
It's scripted.
They both lost.
They do this on purpose. That 18th week brings in a bunch of revenue, and those kind of games bring in the ratings. People want to see that shit. It is
probably 4 or 5 years ago they started front loading and back loading the schedule with division games.
Right.
Because again, I mean that's like smart business. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you fighting for the division at the end of the season, and it's a good chance that, you know what I mean, these two teams are going to play for the division title the last week of the season, like, it just, like, again, that's smart business. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just what they want, like, that's what fans want to see. Again, you were just saying, like, Brady was running away with the division like, you don't want the last week of the season to not really mean a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you want it to be meaningful, and I from, like I always say, and R&B and Raj can tell you, I believe that everything is business first before it's entertainment. Entertainment's the last thing that when you look at any business, you look at anything, you look at it, the front office, you look at the traveling, you look at the practices, you look at the production, you look at all the things that have to go into one game. The camera crews, the announcers, just down to the equipment managers, the people who do the field, make the lines. Everything that goes in. Entertainment is the last thing, because that's what we see.
I disagree.
What do you mean?
I think entertainment. I think entertainment is the second thing. I think business is first. I think entertainment is second. I think the last thing is fans.
No, what I'm saying to you is that when you're putting everything into it, you can't get to the entertainment without any of that. Is the point?
There's a lot that goes into the finished product, is what Mike is saying.
Right. Entertainment is last in their list because by default you have to do all these steps to get to it.
And I get that thought, but in order, like you said, it's a lot that goes into the process to get that whole entertainment, why are you putting all of that into the process for the entertainment? Because if you don't put this shit into the process, you're not gonna get the entertainment because you're not gonna have a good product. So that's why entertainment is second. If you're not entertaining anybody, then what do we got here? People
Right,
don't
but if
just put
you
movies out to put them out. They wanted to entertain people.
okay, so if your camera crew all gets COVID, then what happens if you have no camera crew?
You end up with a Tubi movie.
Right. What I'm saying is, in order, if you don't have anyone to put lines on the field, then what? How do we mark? It's what you're saying isn't wrong, but it's just
I think we
without.
both. I think
Y'all
this
have it.
one of them
It's
more than
it's
one
two different
thing can be two.
conversations. It's two different conversations. I feel like Mike is talking about the process, and I feel like R&B is talking about like order of importance. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's two different conversations that's taking place.
But at the end of the day, too, to his point about fans, these leagues don't give a fuck about us. They're gonna take our money. They're gonna, we're gonna go out. You're gonna buy
What's the
merch.
update?
We got, we got,
Who got an update?
It's
oh,
Jokic.
that's just
Talking
just
Jokic.
my my ESPN. Nothing crazy. Just about my fantasy.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say because Jokic just got hurt.
Damn, did he?
Yeah, knee
Who got
injury.
hurt?
Damn.
Jokic.
But yeah,
Nope.
so that's what I would say
Joker.
is just I just think that everything is when you look at the totality, it is a script, Raj, and they have to follow that to an extent. They got to do whatever it takes to get people to watch because to Will's point, they were doing too many people were tuning out after week 14, 15 because everything was locked up. You're just there. Everyone's playing their scrubs. You're taking,
They got the
starter
backups in. Yeah.
starters are taking 2-3 weeks off. And this creates more of a buzz. And then the thing is, what's made this better is it's not even like you look at it, right? 3 or 4 teams can get the number 1 seed on both sides still, right? So now these guys are going into week 18 like, yo, we have an opportunity to get the bye week, which could be a gift or a curse because sometimes that bye week doesn't work out as good as it should. So I mean,
Like even this game right here with the Falcons and the Rams. Like, come on, they just ran a pick six. Like, really, you honestly believe that's what is really happening? Like, if it was a real game, you know what I'm saying? It just baffles me because it's almost like what's going to happen second half. Second half, the Rams are going to come back and score 21 points. And then everyone's attention on how the Rams came back. Because how many times have we
You
seen that
say
with the Buffalo Bills?
it's getting to a point to where it's turned into the WWE where you can just predict
Yes.
it. Like, oh
Yes.
yeah, he gonna win the Royal Rumble.
Exactly. Exactly. No, like think about it. How many times we don't witness the Buffalo Bills being down 20 points, 21 points, and they come back and win the game? We've seen that about
Or
6 times.
almost win it.
Yeah, or almost win the game. You know what I'm saying? Like last week. But it just goes to show you, like the NFL, we know once they got involved with Vegas and they started doing like all these gambling stuff like that, they got heavily involved in the point spreads and teams winning and losing, and like they already know it's going to be cinema when you watch the Steelers versus the Ravens next weekend. Like they know it. They know in their mind, oh, we got a good one. Everyone's gonna be tuned in because this is do or die. So it just goes to show you, like a lot of this stuff, man. It just makes you scratch your head. Like how the hell are they gonna lose this game? I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Like I'm also venting too because I've witnessed two. Matter of fact, was it what actually a whole entire week of Christmas weekend, we witnessed all the underdogs win. Not some, all of them, including the Texans. The Texans were underdogs.
Yeah.
And I was looking at something the other day that said next year Christmas is on it's on a Friday. So Christmas Eve, Thursday, right? There will be football. Then Friday there will be football.
And
And
then
then
Sunday.
Saturday
Saturday.
they'll have their
And Sunday.
football.
Damn, I didn't
Then
know that.
Sunday and Monday. It's gonna be a 5-day stretch. 5-day stretch. They about to have that NBA schedule, like at this point.
That's crazy.
And now I'm sure there'll be another app that everyone will need to buy or have a part of in order to watch it.
Exactly.
They're gonna start show. They're gonna make up an app just so people have to pay more money.
Yeah.
They don't even give a fuck no more. They just gonna throw it out there any kind of way to us too. Like, and now subscribe to the brand new NFL Pay More Money app. You.
And guess what? You're
For
going
only-
to get it.
For only $39.95.
Oh, shit. That's a fact.
Do you want to be fucked today? Order the new NFL app.
So I want to talk about the other matchup here, and I'm coming to you, R&B, first. Who's winning the NFC South? Is Tampa Bay going to recover this, or are the Panthers going to rise to the occasion?
Man, this is a toughie, man, because Bryce had been having such a good season, finally coming into his own this year, playing some good football. And down the stretch here, he has not been good. That defense has definitely been the catalyst, helping them along the way down the stretch. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, we all know what we expected of them this year. They started out to our expectations. They were there. Injury settled in. They went south. Started getting some players back. They never really hit north again, but they stayed right there at that fine medium that kept them in, contention for the division. It's a toss-up, man, but I'm gonna roll with the Panthers on this one. I'm gonna say that defense is going to get them to where they need to be, seal up the division this week. I like that secondary, that young secondary they got. They get after it, man. Them boys cause havoc back there. And the front seven, not too bad either. I believe that Bryce will do enough to get the job done. I think it'll be a long day for Baker Mayfield. My heart is kind of leaning toward go with the experience, Todd Bowles, Mayfield, the Bucks. But my mind is telling me the young kids on the block now. And I think they're going to go ahead and take this division. I'm going to roll with the Panthers.
Raj, do you think that changes need to be made for the Buccaneers if they are to lose this game?
I mean, there's not much you can change. They pretty much got the team they got for the future. But to answer your question, yes, they do need to make a change. And honestly, I don't know where because it's like they were hot. They were a hot team for like the past. I would say the first probably like 5 or 6 weeks they were on fire.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just
I think weren't they like 4-0?
Yeah, I think it was like 4-0 or 5-1.
They was talking about Baker for MVP.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
Mayfield MVP conversations. You know what I'm saying? They was doing all this without Mike Evans. Like it was Godwin, and then Mike Evans got hurt, and then everything changed. And I'm just like I'm scratching my head because I'm like, what happened to Bucky Irvin? What happened to Ibuka? You know what I'm saying? Emeka Ibuka.
But that just real quick, Raj, that's sport. That when a player is so great at doing something and he all of a sudden is taken out of the equation, it changes everything. I.e., similar to Pittsburgh lost to Cleveland yesterday. When you take DK out of that game, just the mere presence of him being there and not being there changes a lot for that game and for Pittsburgh, whether they win or lose. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with Mike Evans. He's such a great fucking receiver. You know what I'm saying? You take him out of the equation, it changes how the defenses are gonna play you now. Now
That's true.
Mbuka gets those double teams, you know what I'm saying, that would have went toward Mike Evans' way. Now we gonna stack the box on you, and because we don't have to allocate to covering this one side of the field where Mike Evans is at, we can focus on this run game or whatever. So
Right.
it just is that's how I go.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, and I'm glad you said that because yes, your game plan definitely changes, and the coverage definitely changes, especially in football. Basketball is a little bit different because it's kind of it's more of a spread out kind of game. It's not just like one receiver receiving the ball. You kind of move around with basketball. But I will say this: now all that those talks died down. And Baker's not even mentioned in the top five. So it just goes to show you how fast the pendulum swings. Um, but I will say this: I got Carolina winning. It's probably going to be by a field goal, but it's going to be a very entertaining game. And this is actually what I look forward to because both of these teams, they both are pretty much the same. There's not much difference. I mean, their defense is kind of pretty much in the middle. Their wide receiving core is pretty good. Their run game is decent. So it just goes to show you that any given Sunday, anybody can win. So I'm rolling with the Panthers with that.
We
Will, do
already
you
know
think?
that's what you're looking forward to, Raj. That's why you should subscribe to the NFL app and get fucked.
For $39.99.
Will, do you
Oh,
believe if the Panthers win this game, this will help start to build them in the right direction? Meaning, will there be an incline for them as a team, or do you see them taking a step back moving forward?
Um, I think we already saw them take a step forward this year. So I don't know if them taking another step forward is contingent on winning this game or not. Obviously, helpful playoff experience, you know what I mean? All that good stuff. But even if they lose this game, that don't mean that they not gonna come back and take another step forward, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, next season. Um Again, like I say, obviously they want to win the game and get all the experience that comes with, winning your division, um, playing a playoff game, getting to host a home playoff game. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, um, that would, like I say, that would definitely be beneficial to their process, obviously. Um, but like I say, I feel like nobody expected them to be fighting for their division. You know what I mean? No, I don't think
Except
anybody.
except
I,
except Raj. Raj was the only one who called it in the beginning. He did
Yeah,
talk
he
about
did.
Carolina. Me and R&B
okay,
was looking at him like he was crazy. A
crazy,
lot of his
right?
takes be wild, but I got to give him this one because this one was on the money.
appreciate that. And I hope y'all cashed it out too, because that was a pretty good ticket.
Even listen, right now, even if they don't win this game, the fact that they were in it just says a
Right,
lot.
Yeah.
right, absolutely, absolutely.
Because right now, if the playoffs were to start today, they'd be matched up with San Fran. Even at
Oh,
home, I don't like that matchup for them. But there's not many matchups I like for them.
For them
They
right
could
now,
end,
exactly.
they could end up against the Rams, against Green Bay, against
I
Chicago,
ain't gonna lie,
Seattle. Like,
man. I ain't gonna lie, Mike. If the Panthers win this game
mhm.
and somebody obviously, win the division, somebody's gonna have to come there and play. I'm willing to go out on the limb and say that I feel like that young defense could fuck around and have somebody. Even
that's
if
true.
it's just that one game, I feel like that young defense can have somebody. Because we're not talking about a young offense. Well, yeah, we are in a way, but we know that this team is built around their defense for the most part. And,
Right.
and the way that secondary plays, the way they get after it, We've seen Brock Purdy throw 5 interceptions. Yeah, I
That's
know
fact.
everybody want to talk about the 5 total touchdowns from I think last night or whatever, but the game before that, nigga had 5 interceptions.
Fact.
If he went to Carolina and threw 5 interceptions against a team that's very capable with that good young secondary of doing that, San Francisco would lose that game.
You're right. You're right. And no, I'm not saying that they can't. I'm just saying when I'm just looking at the matchups based on what I've seen through the season and on paper, we know the playoffs are a different game. We know that
Yeah.
it's starting over any given day. That's any week, but any given day. I'm just saying based on what I've seen and what I know, I don't like any of the matchups for them. But there's not to say, listen, I've been the victim of a Pittsburgh team going to Denver and getting beat out by what's his name? Tebow.
Tebow.
Yeah, there we go. I was ready to call him Tom Tebow. Like they was so worried about him running, and then all he did was a little dump pass. Boom, 70 yards gone. So, anything can happen when it comes. So, I guess I want to definitely get this in because I was seeing if Brandon was going to join, but I don't know. But we got to talk about Buffalo yesterday. Hold on. Hey, stop with the damn door! Dumbass kids. They're slamming the door for no reason, like little idiots. Like, come on. They break the door, I'm gonna have to break them. So
that was a dad yell, if nothing else. That was a baby
Hey, that was a Will Ferrell skit. He went from moderate to stop with the
goddamn. So now that the intermission's over, yesterday the Bills and the Eagles had a game, kind of, because I'll tell you that was bad. I don't know what, and I'm gonna say this real quick. NFL, if somehow you watch this next season, please take the Eagles off my screen, and please take Dallas off my screen, please. I just don't give us more of someone, not them two, because Dallas, they're awful. And I just want to see less of Philly because they play like dog shit. Please, for the love of God. So I watched a game that was like watching it was like watching paint dry. That first half, I felt like it was 0-0 for ever. And then it was 7-0 forever. And then it was 13-0. And then it was 13-6. And I'm going to start with you, R&B. Was it a bad choice for the Bills to go for the 2-point conversion instead of kick the extra point?
That's a hard one, man, because man, that's a hard one. I mean, it's I hate to sound like that guy, but this one of them situations. If they get the 2-point conversion, we not even having this conversation, and we praising him about how good of a coach he is to go for it, and they successful. And now that they didn't get it, now you know what I'm saying. But I'm okay with going for the win. I think he made a true assessment of what the fuck he was looking at. You know what I'm saying? We finally got a drive to get down the field and get in the fucking red zone. So let's try to bring this motherfucker home while we got a shot, because this shit is horrible football that we've seen. And just to kind of piggyback off what you were saying before you passed it over to me, Man, that shit was like watching a high school game yesterday.
Hmm.
You ever been to one of them high school games where it's just constantly no scoring back and forth? Then one's team finally score, then the other team finally score, then the other team score again, and then nobody score no more. That's basically what the fuck you just watched when you watched that game yesterday. It looked like two motherfucking senior quarterbacks in some fucking JV just all around. It was horrible to watch, man. And I can't even really say that it was an entertaining defensive game because Jalen Hurts was absolutely shit in the second half. Like that shit was horrible, dog. Josh Allen, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm mad Agent Sostas ain't on here because I told you I had a rant about that motherfucker. I'm tired of giving him passes. Like, motherfucker, I don't care. He's at that level now. I hold him to that same regard, like I always say that we be doing with Lamar and Pat and all these other motherfuckers. All right. It's a possibility you don't have Lamar in the playoffs this year if they lose next Sunday night. We already know Mahomes is out of there. You're the veteran. You're gonna be the top superstar veteran quarterback in this AFC playoff run this year. You got to get it done. No excuses. I don't care nothing about. We feel like McDermott should be fired. I don't care nothing about. You know what I'm saying? They feel like his wide receiving core is not great enough, or whatever the case may be. I don't care about none of that. You've produced all, like, everybody been giving you this praise about how you've been producing with less and so on and so forth. And the only thing that had been stopping you was the fact that you kept running up against this boogie monster and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs and that these other great quarterbacks. Well, now they not there. Joe Burrow won't be there. Now they not there. Now it's all on Josh.
Another
So
pick.
I want to see if he gonna really come through and do what he's supposed to do. I want to see if he gonna rise to the moment. He got Dalvin Cook with him. He got a solid offensive line. He got a defense that we seen yesterday that when they can slow the game down and make it a slugfest to get themselves a shot. So I that's what I want to see. You know, when I'm thinking about that game from yesterday, I want to see what Josh Allen is gonna do in this playoff run. Can he get it done? Because this should be his year to do it. It's wide open for him to do it because you going up against younger quarterbacks now that don't have the experience that you have. So I want to see you get it done.
Yeah, I mean, you were trying to say something, Raj. What were you gonna say?
No, I was saying another pick from Matt
No,
Stafford.
from Stafford.
Pat Stafford. Patting the stats. Matt Stafford.
Hey, but yeah, as you say that, remember what we was just talking about. Devontae Adams is not on the other side of that field now.
Good point.
So notice since he's blew his hamstring back out, the struggles that the Rams have been having on the offensive side of the ball. When teams are just completely able to just target in on Puka Nakua
And this dude is
and
running for
not.
like 90 yards. Come on, man. This is Vegas. Man, touchdown. 97 yards. 97. Well, how many yards is that? That's crazy.
He's gone.
Yeah, he got a touchdown. Right on that. 93 yards. I thought it was 97. 93 yards. Anyway, real quick.
Damn.
I want to say this real quick about the Buffalo and the Bills and the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is trash. Jalen Hurts is trash. I'm so sick and tired of this dude. Like, I
I
get
don't
what.
think he trash.
No, he's trash. He's trash.
He just not what they, he not that guy. He ain't trash though. He a Super Bowl champion. He outdueled Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls. You can't say he trash and won one of them. A dude that some people are right now considering in the GOAT conversation over Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? He outdueled him twice in the Super Bowl and beat him one of those times. He not trash.
Listen, this guy got a ring too. Nick Foles. If you ever heard it, I don't know if you ever heard of him. So if we gonna keep that narrative going, let's go. Because look, I know what I know, And I know that Jalen Hurts did not play good in the second half. In fact, let's look up the
He
stats real
played
quick.
great in the first half. That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah, so he took a half a day. My man put his PTO time. He put
He said
in a
he took a half
oh,
a day.
my man said, I'm good. I'm going home for the rest of the day. I done did my job. Y'all figure it out. You know what I'm saying? If you ever worked in a warehouse job, that's the worst thing you can hear from a coworker. Y'all figure it out. Because guess what? He threw for 120 yards in the first half. And when he came back after halftime, he threw for 0 yards. Therefore, in my book, he is trash. And this is not the first game. He's known all the whole entire season. He's been playing like this. They complain how he's not giving the ball to the wide receivers. They complain how, um, AJ Brown is not getting enough targets. Now what's the excuse? See, if Philly played this bad and the Bills still lost, right? That means that somebody needs to be fired. And McDermott need to be fired because I'm not going for that too. I'm going for the field goal, and you prove to me that you can beat me in overtime in Buffalo. That's how I'm playing. As a coach, you take what you get. You get the point and you go home, or you get the point and you go in overtime. You don't try to do nothing fancy. This dude over there throwing up the twos before they even got to fourth down. They wouldn't even have fourth down yet. He's throwing up twos for the extra 2-point conversion. What are you smoking? If they don't fire
I,
McDermott
I
after this,
disagree. I disagree. I agree that he need to be fired, but I disagree how again you looking at the scale of how the game is going. Your offense hasn't produced jack shit. Yeah, Jalen Hurts played terrible in the second half, but Josh Allen ain't do you no motherfucking favors either. The offense looked
right?
like jack shit.
But that's
They
why,
finally had got down the field.
and they only
If I
got
if
that.
my offense ain't did shit the whole game, not just the second half, the whole game, and we finally get down the field with a chance to win it, the division gone. They not about to win the division. The Patriots already got that. So you are where you are in the playoffs. So I'm going for the win. I'm going for the win.
I mean, as a coach, I can't say that's the case because my thing is this, right? And by the way, Jalen Hurts threw for 110 yards, not 120, 110 yards. Um, my thing is this: if you're going to win a game, even if it's not even counting for anything, I'm just talking about just doing it just to get yourself mentally in the mind of winning. You go for the extra point. You tie it up because your defense is the reason why you got to that point. They stopped Jalen Hurts from even getting a completion in the second half. So prove them wrong again. Say, yo, go out there and do it again. If you're so nasty, if you're so nice, go out there and score a touchdown because you can't.
And
The deep,
I hear you, but you can't forget the Philadelphia defense stopped them from getting down the field the entire
but
game.
they got down the field and they scored. That's what I'm saying. It's not like
Watch.
they didn't score. They scored too. So then we're going to have a tied game. It's either we're going to tie this motherfucker or go home or I'm going to win. I'm not going to do a 2-point conversion and lose in Buffalo and everyone's looking at the coach like, what the hell did you just do? Because they already got his name written down
Well,
for
he
potential
used to
fire.
that shit anyway, so I don't think that bothered him.
Well, obviously not, because he definitely threw it. Like I said, he was ready to do the 2-point conversion before they even scored. He's like, "We going for it."
Man, I'm gonna tell you what's real. McDermott fucking somebody in Buffalo.
Oh damn! Come on, man. Allegedly, we gotta say
I
that.
don't care what allegedly. I don't care what y'all say. He something going down in Buffalo with that dude
This is
because I
about
don't
to be
see how
true.
he still got a job. So to be that comfortable, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying? He obviously feel comfortable enough to like fuck it. You know, it's either that or he know what they earn. He know what he is. he like I'm rolling the dice.
yeah,
I'm on my way out anyway. I don't. It's something.
that's wild.
Well, you got to take to add on for the Bills and the Eagles, my brother.
Um, keep it short and sweet, man. Uh, And it's kind of, piggybacking off of what Ryan said to begin with. Like, they, if Josh Allen throw a catchable pass, we not even having this conversation. He was
You're right.
open. They ran a great play. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't
It's one.
execute.
It's
you
one
know,
of those
so
things. You do it, you're a genius. You miss it, you're an
yeah.
idiot.
McDermott put him in position. You know what I mean? Called the right play. They just didn't execute on the field. So yeah, like I said, if they had scored, if they had got the 2 point conversion, if they had converted, won the game, again, like you say, he's a genius. But they didn't. So now we having this conversation. But I'm not mad at him for going at it. But like it's, and I understand. I agree with what R&B is saying. Like it was it was an ugly offensive game. So if you can get out of there, what I mean, get out of there because you don't know what's gonna happen in overtime anyway.
Yeah, you're always gonna take that risk in OT. We know that, and that's just kind of how it goes.
I
So
tell you one thing, Mike. If I wouldn't want to see those two play in the Super Bowl this year, if that's what it's gonna look like.
Oh
We don't
no,
want to see
hell
that
no,
shit.
hell no.
That should have take us back to like the '90s, how the Super Bowls used to be in the '90s.
Yeah, for
It'd
real.
be straight blowout, boring as hell.
oh God. Oh my God. And it's just like, what are we doing? And I think that we just have to just look at it for what it's worth. you know? Just look at it for what it's worth and just just say, Lord, hopefully neither one of them get there.
For real.
Ancient soul
Like
would rebuke you.
yeah, it's like it's just yeah, oh yeah, you know how he gets. Somehow, no matter what we talking about, we get back to Josh Allen.
Man, we can be talking about a movie and it's gonna get back to Josh Allen. Like, bro, how does that correlate? He gonna find a way to make that shit correlate. Like, because he's a badass, like Denzel in Training Day. Like what?
Like like how do we get here?
Oh, wait, hey, real quick. Speaking of correlating, tell me if y'all knew this or not. Stefanski, Cleveland Browns coach, he's married to the daughter of Tim McCarver. Tim McCarver is the guy that Dion threw the ice water on in the locker room when he was, back when Dion was playing for the Braves and the Falcons, and he played 2 games in one day. And Tim McCarver had, a bunch of, he was talking bullshit about Dion or whatever. I don't know if you haven't seen his footage, but Dion, was in the McCarver was in the locker room. I think they won, whatever round of the playoffs. I don't think it was the World Series, but he threw this water on Tim McCarver.
Hmm.
Stefanski is married to Tim McCarver's daughter.
Oh, I
Mm,
didn't know that.
You know
I
what I'm
didn't know that
saying?
either.
I didn't know
So
that.
so
That
so
makes sense.
Shador coach, uh, his coach's wife probably got long standing beef with his daddy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
That's crazy.
I
I
just
didn't
I
know
found
had
I
that.
just
no
found
idea.
that out earlier today.
Yeah.
That goes to show you sometimes, man, it's beyond the behind the lines, beyond the lines. You
Man,
know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
for real.
So you definitely can't tell me that he ain't mentioned nigger in his bedroom
Oh
in
yeah.
the pillow talk in a
Hard
couple
ER.
nights.
Gosh.
Man.
Hard ERs on the back of that
Brr, like
motherfucker.
brr.
Yeah, that's a
Oh
fucked up
man.
situation for Shador, man. I hate to see.
I know.
Man.
Me too.
I hate to see the NFL even doing that to him, but that's how that shit go, man. With
Yeah.
us as a people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
and
That's for
to add
sure.
to add on to that real quick, you know how I knew it was going to be a bad situation when the
Because he
Las
got drafted by the Browns.
no, before that, before that,
No, I'm just
When the Las Vegas Raiders passed on him, I
mm,
was like, are you serious? because Tom Brady is like his mentor.
When the Steelers passed on him, I thought both of them. I'm like, he gonna be a Raider or a Steeler for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing? And they passed on him. I was like, wow. Oh, they got some type of collusion going on. And I knew right there
Yeah.
it was a wrap. It was over. But I'm proud of him. I'm definitely looking forward to see what happened next season because he's definitely a talent.
Yeah, he played.
Absolutely.
He had a couple interceptions yesterday, but he played efficient,
Yeah,
percentage wise, completion wise.
yeah, exactly. And you gotta remember
Well,
one of those games he didn't have his playbook with him. His what do you call that? The wristband thing.
They
Might
put him out there with the wrong wristband.
have something.
Yeah, it's definitely some collusion going on.
Yeah, something.
Stefanski, don't be surprised if he end up having to get a divorce at some point. I thought you said you were going to rid us of this Sanders problem.
well, gentlemen, even though we did miss a lot, we got a list to go over. We're already past the 2-hour mark, and we got to get in. We got to get into it. We got to get into it. So we're gonna do the same thing we did last week. We'll start at 10, go to 1. Everyone's gonna give their opinion, and we're gonna go from there. So we're gonna start with 10. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, but I'm forewarning. My list is my list, and it might irritate y'all, but my list is my list, and I don't care. Because this one is
it's your
hard.
list.
This is a hard one, but
Yeah.
this is how I see it. So at 10, I got Don Hudson and Lance Allworth.
Wait, you can't have two.
Wait.
You can't have two, bro.
Nope, this is my list. This is my list. It's my list. It's my list.
I
He,
didn't know
my
you
list.
were gonna pull that.
he,
Hey, can people be tied at the same stat? Can two people be tied at the same stat?
Oh.
Well,
My list is my list.
so I mean, I guess he's right. You know, at number 10, I put a person who, his career 14,185 yards, 70 touchdowns, and did this Hall of Fame career without a Hall of Fame quarterback, Andre Johnson.
Okay.
I'll go ahead. At number 10, I got Steve Smith, Carolina Panther / Baltimore Raven, blood and guts. Did most of it with mediocre to trash ass quarterbacks. Technician and a beast, you know what I mean, after the catch, man. Steve Smith.
I nine with the soul of a 6'4" nigga.
Well, like R&B said, it's my list. So people not going to agree because he's actually still playing. But he's actually one of the wide receivers I think is great, even though he's suspended right now. I gotta go number 10 is DK Metcalf.
Okay.
As an all time.
All time, man. All time. I mean, given the situation he's in, I know he played in some crappy teams. He still got over 7,000 receiving yards, 54 touchdowns. He's got to be top 10, at least in my book.
That's an extreme reach, but
in 7 seasons.
Your list is your list, man.
Your list is your list, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with number 9. This man had 11,904 career yards, 65 touchdowns, Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, 3-time champion. Now, Part of the reason that he's low is because I didn't really see him with my own eyes. But the other part of the reason is he's a damn Dallas Cowboy. And I'm going with the playmaker, Michael
Playmaker.
Irvin.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. Real quick, because I'm not gonna put multiple people into one, you know what I mean, ranking, but I gotta throw it. I gotta throw out my people who like just missed. Playmaker was one who just missed the list for me. Antonio Brown just missed the list for me. Tyreek, Torrey Hope, Reggie Wayne, all like just missed the cut for me. Um, at number 9, always open, Mr. Chris Carter, Minnesota Viking. Tormented me and my Lions for years. Uh, Technician, man. Uh, just yeah. As much as I hate them Buckeyes, as much as I hate anybody that play for Ohio State, Chris Carter. I got Chris Carter at number 9 for me.
Right. So again, my list is my list. Fuck y'all. I couldn't break it down, man. I'm sorry, but my list is just my list. But at number 9, I got the dude who would eventually go on to break Don Hudson's 99 touchdown and record in 1989, Mr. Steve Largent. And I also have Tim Brown at number 9 as well, who accumulated over 14,000 receiving yards and 100 touchdowns in his career. Steve Largent, Tim Brown.
Nigga, this ain't a top 20.
I was just about to say this nigga got his top 20.
Nope. My list is my list. If he can put DK Metcalf in all time, my list is my list.
But guess what? 7 seasons, 7,000 plus yards.
You might as well put Justin Jefferson on there then.
All I know is we better all have the same number 1, or it's gonna be a problem.
The madness is almost over. The madness is almost over. I promise.
All right, so my number 9, I got to roll with another person that's still playing, but he's also got over 13,000 yards, 100 reception touchdowns, and that's my guy Mike Evans, man. Mike Evans, number 9 on my list. Y'all mad about that?
Nah.
Nah,
he just missed the cut for me. He just missed the cut for me too. He was in consideration for me.
Okay.
If he had more championship runs, he would have clearly made the cut.
See, I didn't put him on the list at all. He got a ring.
I didn't.
No, I said no. I'm just saying for the prolific wide receiver that he is. You know what I'm saying? Like if he had like maybe another championship run or two outside of just that one with Brady, that might have, you know what I'm saying? And not saying that necessarily take away. I think it just would have put his name in the lights more.
Right.
It don't help that he play in Tampa Bay, you know, which really went through hard times after that defensive, you know, after Warren Sapp and them was gone. They sucked for a while.
Yeah.
That nigga got 12 straight 1,000-yard seasons or something like that. 13 straight 1,000-yard seasons, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
With not always the best quarterback play.
Right.
So
yeah.
He definitely, you know, I ain't mad at you for that one.
And not just barely getting past 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like clearing it.
Clearing that shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Number 8. Y'all know I was gonna do it. 12,291 yards, 83 touchdowns, Super Bowl champion, 7 Pro Bowls, 4 first team All Pro. First player with 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 return yards in the same season. Most catches in a 2-year span with 265 between 2014 and 2015. And in a 3-year span, 375 between 2013 2015. Six consecutive seasons with 100 catches and 100 yards. One of 2 players with multiple seasons of 100-plus receptions. Number 8 is Antonio Brown.
Ah,
Can't be mad at it.
All right. So the madness is over after this. Got number 8. Hey,
number
fuck
8.
y'all, man. My list is my
We got
list.
a top
At
13.
at at, at number 8, as a toss up for me, I got Mr. Calvin Johnson next to Isaac Bruce.
Oh man.
Isaac Bruce just missed the cut for me too. He was in consideration, but he ain't make my list. I'll go ahead. Number 8 for me, Julio Jones.
Okay.
All right, I respect it.
Number 8. Number 8 for me. I got Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay. Okay.
Number 7. You want me to start number 7?
Go ahead, you can go with number 7.
All right, number 7. Since you already mentioned him, but he's got to be mentioned in there. Even though I don't like the Cowboys, I got to put my guy, Michael Irvin. He's the only Cowboy I like.
Number 7. So I got, 15,934 yards, 153 touchdowns, 6 Pro Bowl selections, 8th all time in receptions, 153 touchdowns, 3rd all time. And the only NFL player to score a touchdown against all 32 teams, Terrell Owens.
Okay.
Number 7, me and Roger twins on this one. I got Michael Irvin.
That's what's up.
And who else?
He said it ended. He said it ended.
The madness is over.
Just making sure. Just making sure.
uh, for me at number 7, I got Andre Johnson.
Okay.
Number 6. You going, Mike? You going first?
I can go first. Number 6. This gentleman had 15,292 yards, 156 touchdowns. A man that should have won a Super Bowl, but had some of the greatest hands I've ever seen.
Pause.
Single season touchdown record. You already know who it is. Randy Moss.
Boss.
Oh, what? At number 6?
This is 6. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a
That's
look.
Wow.
crazy
I gotta
work.
hear now. I gotta hear your number. Your number top 2. That's crazy.
That's
My
crazy
number.
work right there.
My number 6. My number 6. Yeah, 14,000 yards, 82 receiving touchdowns, and is a 6-time Pro Bowler and 1-time NFL Super Bowl champion. That's Reggie Wayne.
Hmm.
I can't get over that Randy Moss being number 6.
A guy who transitioned from a 2 to a number 1 and didn't miss a beat doing it. Reggie Wayne.
He was always a
Yes,
1. They had 2
that's
Yeah,
ones.
true.
He was never a
definitely.
2.
They had 2
They had 2
ones.
number
That's a
1s.
fact. That is a fact.
So at number 6, for me, a guy who accumulated over 17,492 receiving yards, 121 touchdowns, 1432 receptions. What was this? It looked like he averaged about a 138. Mr. Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay.
For me at number 6, I got Marvin Harrison.
Okay. So we're on number 5 now.
Yeah, number 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
5, 11,619 yards, 83 touchdowns. Um, this certain individual just he could have played easily another 5, 10 years, but did so much in so little time and still holds the single season receiving record that for receiving yards in a season,
Okay.
1,964. Yep. Y'all know I'm talking about Megatron.
At number what? At number 5?
I got him at 5. Calvin
Yeah,
Johnson.
I gotta hear your number 1. Wow. Okay. Multiple time Pro Bowler, and got the most interesting hands. Pause. But his fingers go all the way down. That's my guy, Chris Carter.
Number 5, I have Chris Carter as well.
Okay.
At number 5, I got T.O.
Okay. Chris Carter was number 4. And what got me was I had seen y'all remember when he was doing that show, First Things First, with Nick Wright.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were showing a segment where he, like, if you ever look at his hands, his thumbs go like down here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he was like telling the guy he trained his thumb to do that, so the ball would fit. And then I went and like watched like his highlights. I'm like, damn, this dude was that dude for real. I mean, man. 13,899 yards, 130 touchdowns for his career. I mean, he just was really, really he was really that dude. Like he was really that dude. Led the league in receiving touchdowns a couple times. Holds Vikings franchise record 1,004 receptions, 12,383 yards, and receiving touchdowns with 110. He was that dude.
Held a single season record at one point in time for receptions.
Yeah, he was
At one point in time, Chris Carter was the closest in every category to Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, yeah, when he retired,
it was a distant number 2 in most of those categories, but he still was number 2
Right.
at a point in time.
Yep. What number are we at?
Going to 3.
4. No, we're on 4.
Oh, 4.
I just did 4. You guys got to do 4. Yeah.
So at number 4, I have Marvin Harrison, touchdown machine.
Man, get out of my head. That's my pick as well. Marvin Harrison, number 4.
For me, at number 4, I got Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay.
He's like number 3 in most categories, and again, did most of it without a quarterback, excluding them few years that he had a healthy Carson Palmer and Kurt Warner for 2 years. But he did a lot of work with mediocre quarterback play.
I'm gonna say that number 3 for me is Larry Fitzgerald, and the guy just had amazing hands. He could catch anything. 11-time Pro Bowler, first team, All-Pro first team. NFL postseason records, most touchdown receptions, 7 in receiving yards, and a 546 in a single postseason. But what a lot of people don't know is, do you know that for his career he has more tackles than drop passes?
That's crazy.
Wow, I don't know.
Let that just sink in. Let that really sink in.
What that really says to me is that his quarterbacks were throwing a lot of interceptions trying to get him the ball. And he was that's what they say to me more than anything. He was
Regardless,
making sure it
that
wasn't going
means
back
that
to the
that
house.
man, if that ball hit his hands, there was a 90% plus chance he was catching it.
Mm.
Fifth is a beast, definitely. Number three, I got Megatron. I got Calvin.
Yep, that's why I got his number 3 as well.
Number 3, I got T.O.
Okay. Okay. Number two, I got Marvin Harrison.
Number
Number
2,
2, I got Randy Moss.
I got Randy Moss.
I got Moffett too.
Let me
So,
guess.
So do we
Can
got
we
to do
all
any
say it
kind of
on the
grand
count of 3?
announcement?
Y'all
Do
want
we
to
got
say
to?
it? Say it on the count of 3. Everybody say they number 1.
all right, go ahead,
Rice.
count it down.
1,
1, 2, 3. Jerry
Jerry
Rice.
Jerry
Jerry
Rice.
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 Oh, how y'all gonna leave me out there like that?
My bad. Jerry Rice, guys.
Terrible choir. Terrible choir.
Bro.
And I think it kind of just goes without saying. I think it just goes without saying it was Jerry
Well,
Rice.
of course. I mean, he's the greatest wide receiver ever, man. I was gonna put Randy Moss up there, but nah, he can't touch
Look,
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice is the greatest wide receiver ever, but the best wide receiver I've ever seen with my two eyes is Randy Moss.
Oh yeah. That's why I was saying I was gonna put Randy Moss over Jerry because
Hey, Will, and why is that?
Why, like the difference between best and greatest? Like why,
No,
you know?
no. Why is Randy Moss the greatest you ever seen with your own 2 eyes? What formulates
No,
that
he's not
for
the great.
your
No,
eyes?
I watch Jerry. Jerry is the greatest because Jerry. I mean, and again, Jerry, he put it so far out of reach. Like, you know what I'm saying? His resume is just unapproachable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or the best,
But
however
but
you
but
worded it.
but but as far as the football that I've watched, I've never seen another receiver. You know what I'm saying? Devastate, destroy, disintegrate, depress. You know what I'm saying? A defense when that hand went up, boy. You know what I'm saying? It was like in WW in wrestling when somebody got a little call sign before they do their move. You know what I mean? Like Diamond Dallas Page throwing up. Like when that hand went up,
it was
you
over.
know what I'm saying?
It was
You knew
over.
it was over. You knew it was over, man. Like, yeah, Moss is just hands down the best receiver I've ever seen. Like, and
the reason I asked that question, what I was trying to get at was the entertainment that he provided. The
I mean,
Oh yeah,
entertainment
no doubt.
value.
No doubt.
that's I mean, yeah, that's all part of it too. But Randy Moss would do in one catch what Jerry Rice would need 4 or 5 to do. You know what I'm saying? Like Jerry Rice was matriculating the ball down the field. Moss was blowing the roof off the defense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Man,
most definitely.
And it's
oh
crazy
man.
because we've seen not necessarily receivers as great as Moss, but we've definitely seen great receivers do Moss like things in this modern football era. And a lot of times when that happens, it will kind of make that the person who kind of originated that shit
Mm,
fade and fade to, kind of fade out of sight. But Randy's impact is so, what I'm saying? Because I've seen games recent memory, what I'm saying? Maybe this season or last season where a guy had like 4 catches for 100 and something yards. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
But it's just the way that Randy did it is so everlasting in our minds that it just it's just a hell of an impact. A hell of
But
an impact.
I think also too though, like not that he was the first explosive receiver, but again, like it's more common now. The game is more wide open now. It's a little easier
Yep,
now. You know what I mean? Than
yep,
it was. He did it like when the game was still, you know what I mean? When the first Ravens great defense, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like that era, you know
yeah,
what I mean? And the Tennessee Titans, and you know what I mean? Like they it wasn't a whole lot of it wasn't a whole lot of explosive. It was offenses that scored a lot of points, but not explosive like they were. And you know, not just him, like Robert Smith was a, you know what I mean? He could get you, he could break off a 60, 70, 80 yard run. Chris Carter was Chris Carter,
mhm,
Jake Reed was Jake Reed, you know, but they and then, you know, after that, like that next year, just greatest show on turf. And then, you know, like again, you know, Peyton Manning and all like so now it's just a little more commonplace. But like even when I was saying like Tyreek Hill made my honorable mention for again the same thing that we saying about Randy Moss. You know what I mean? Like you ain't gonna ask Tyreek Hill to run a bunch of, you know what I mean, short slants and ends. He gonna bust the game open doing what he do. You know?
yeah.
Man, that was a good one. That was a good one.
It just was hard to when you look at the just look at it from a whole spectrum. It's hard to really just narrow it down to 10 because it's so many great ones, man. It's so much great numbers and so much history to that shit. It's hard to you really feel like cutting somebody short, leaving them out. You know what I'm saying?
You're
You
always
really
gonna
feel like
leave.
that.
You're always gonna leave someone out. You know, it's tough to though. And these lists are all subjective. I mean, you know, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it comes
And
down
and
to.
And a lot of other positions or certain things, though, you can really kind of formulate a final opinion of why you can leave a certain person out. With these NFL wide receivers, you know what I'm saying, when they get down to like I say maybe like the bottom five down, like that second half on down, it get real tricky. It get extremely tricky. Well, why it's just a different type of position.
Yeah, it's it's definitely gets difficult
yeah.
after a while.
Y'all want to hear these numbers real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, 21 different receivers got a vote, at least one vote. Um, four made everybody's list: Rice, Moss, Calvin, and Chris Carter. Obviously Rice, you know what I mean, had the most points. Moss had the second most. Calvin was third. Chris Carter was fourth. Um, and then like, and then it's only one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight that got more than one vote. You know what I'm saying? So like To was on three people list. Fitz was on three people list. Marvin Harrison was on three. Andre Johnson on two. Playmaker was on three. Then all the other people, you know what I mean, got one vote. You know what I mean, somewhere between sixth and tenth.
That's what's up.
Man, that's wild. Hey, that was good. Y'all want to do running backs or tight ends for next week?
Ooh.
Mhm.
Don't matter to me.
Let's do tight ends. Let's do tight ends. Because
Oh
running
yeah,
backs go, I feel like it's gonna be just like receivers. There's so many of them. It's
Yeah.
so
R&B
many of
R&B is about to have a top 25.
I think I can narrow it down to 10 for tight end. I think I can narrow it down to 10
Nah,
for tight
nah,
end.
nah. R&B need 2 weeks
No,
to think about
I
running back.
really do. I really do. I really was feeling like that. Like with doing that list, I really did feel like you know what I'm saying. I could slot certain people in, could tie for a position. You know what I'm saying. It just to be fair, and also homage as well. But to think of some of the shit that even some of the bygone dudes did, like a dude like I say like Don Hudson, 99 touchdowns and 116 games. And when he retired, he had like 200 more catches than any other player in the history, and that record stood for 44 years until Steve Largent broke it. And he did that shit. Mind you, Steve Largent broke it in 1989. So do the math. It stood for 44 years. He did that shit in the era where it was just straight running. Pretty much,
Yeah.
well, he was like damn near one of the first down the field receivers or whatever. So it just, to me, that's impressive. It's hard to leave that off the list.
Guys, real quick, my phone's about to die. You
Well,
got me?
okay, yeah,
It's
we're gonna
dead.
wrap up.
No, I thought he froze. I was about to say it went dead.
No. Yeah, because it's like on 2%. It's gonna cut off soon. So I just want to let you know I'm not cutting off, but
Well, we'll be back next week, Monday. Hopefully same place, same time. We'll have a nice tight end list, top 10. And everyone be safe. Have a happy new year. Be safe, be happy, spend time with your family. And I will see you all in 2026. Peace.
yes. Peace.
All right, fellas, take it easy.
Peace.